Hey guys, what's up? This is Madchild bringing you another audio commentary for the WCReplays.com site, copyrighted 2008, so don't steal it. Or the same fate awaits for you that awaits for those who steal music from the internet. Their families will be taken away from them. They will be locked in a dark cell and forced to listen to their screams of agony, like the halls of the dead. Whatever. Okay, so today I want to talk about Undead Mirror. Undead Mirror is a great matchup. I don't care what everyone says. I love this matchup. There's something about it. I just love how there's no dryads, there's no raiders, there's no towers or tanks from humans. It's just good, clean, undead fun. And I think it's a great dynamic matchup. There's lots of available strategies, and you get to go Lich first. Who doesn't like that? So, today I'm going to be talking about just that, the Lich Ghouls strategy, and it's going to be against the Death Knight Fiends strategy, which is probably the current cookie cutter. Like, that's the most popular one right now. Just because I've seen a lot more pros going it. I guess more notably, Fav has switched from Lich Ghouls to Death Knight Fiends in most of his games, but some, like Caesarea, still go Lich Ghouls in most of their games. So, I mean, it's basically up to the player. Death Knight Fiends is a little bit more solid strategy, but Lich Ghouls is definitely more fun. And when you're playing a game, you're playing it for fun, and Lich Ghouls is still a viable strategy. So I would say go Lich Ghouls, but that's just my opinion. But that's what you're listening to this thing for, my opinion. So, get the first game, the only game paused at the 2-minute mark from agoraphobia's point of view. In this game, he will be conquering his arachnophobia, fear of spiders, as he will be killing numerous fiends. So, the map is Terran Stand. This map is pretty good for both strategies. Both players can creep to level 3 pretty quickly. You can do this cool trick with the Acolyte that you're going to see, with your Scout Acolyte that you're going to see Agoraphobia do. I've seen a lot of pros do this, and I've been starting to integrate this into my games. While you're watching the build orders, I'd like to point out one cool thing that you can actually do on two-player maps like this. And that is when you collect enough lumber to get your shop as well as your crypt altar and ziggurat, you can actually send your first ghoul over, and you can screw up the other guy pretty quickly. I mean, it does slow your tech down considerably, but it slows his tech down too because he has to fight it off with his lumber ghouls. And you can actually get an acolyte killer too, or at least make him have to micro continually while your ghoul just chases an acolyte around mindlessly. So it is a pretty cool thing that you can do on maps like this, and it's something that can give you the upper hand at such an early stage in the game. And it works against both fiend users and ghoul users, so there's no reason not to do it. It's a really cool thing to do, though. So yeah, and then you don't have to build a Scout Acolyte. But then you can't do this cool trick with the Scout Acolyte that you're going to see. So, I mean, Undead Mirror, there's a lot of things that you can do. You can have it your way, just like Burger King and Undead Mirror. So, at the 2-minute mark, getting this unpaused in 3, 2, 1, unpause. So Agoraphobia's Lich pops out. His Lich scouted, not his Lich, his Acolyte scouted that Object was going Death Knight Fiends, and so he went to go hide in the trees. And the reason he's hiding in the trees is because the Lich is going to be able to staff teleport to it later on in the game, and he's actually going to be able to creep check the Death Knight Fiend user just as he's creeping the Goblin Merchant. And that's just after the Ghoul user has crept the Goblin Merchant. And that's one of the advantages to going ghouls. You're faster at pretty much everything. You get a faster tech, your creeping is a little bit faster, and you're going to get those key tier 3 items and extra heroes and upgrades faster than the fiend user. So that's what you're going to be doing as the ghoul user, attacking as fast as you possibly can. So he's creeping this Goblin Lab. That's basically what you want to do. Harassing isn't really an option early game on Terran Stand, as by the time you get to his Goblin Lab, he'll already have crept it. So you just wasted all that time walking across the map, and he can just go back to his base because he's right next to his base, and he has level 2 and you have level 1. So there's really no point in doing that. You want to creep as fast as you can to level 3 to get the level 2 Nova, because you can't really effectively harass with level 1 Nova. Agoraphobia just started teching right now as fast as he could. He's also getting a Nerubian Tower. You can delay your Nerubian Tower a little bit later too, but you need to get it by tier 2, I guess, just because once the Death Knight Fiend user gets level 3, he's going to be able to push your base easily, and that'll really help push back his push, because your ghouls aren't able to fight um, fiends with level 2 coil support without Ghoul Frenzy and Orb, which you won't have until tier 3, and that's why you need that Nerubian Tower to help hold it off. And what you can do is the Death Knight runs in first, because it's Death Knight Fiends, obviously. You can use your Lich and your high level Nova to just focus the Death Knight, force the TP, force him to run away and heal, whatever, as long as he leaves your base. So after he's creeping this Goblin Merchant, he immediately buys a new Skeleton Rod and Staff and teleports over to this Acolyte. If he was a little bit quicker at remembering his Lich is up there, he actually would have gotten a better creep jack. But whatever, it's not the end of the world. But he does, and he does send the rest of his ghouls to creep this crappy little kobold camp, not because it has a great item or particularly a lot of experience, it just gives him level 3, and it's a pretty easy camp to creep with a handful of ghouls. So his Lich is level 3. Level 3 Nova really does a number on anything that that the Fiend user will have at this point. His Death Knight is still level 2, so he's going to have a hard time coiling to make up for all the damage that the Nova is going to do. And you need that fresh Skeleton Rod just so you can use the Skeletons to help you kill Fiends. And that's what you're really aiming for, to kill Fiends. Since Agoraphobia notices that the Death Knight's having trouble to get to level 3, he brings a couple of his ghouls to come over to harass. Not a bad idea. You could even go for an Acolyte run if you wanted to right now. But he knows that the Fiends are separated from the Death Knight, as the Death Knight's just like running around right now. So you might as well use them to try and kill some Fiends. But you don't want a full-scale attack at this point, because the Fiend user will tear you up. This is strictly harassment, and he does a pretty good job of it, seeing as how he trades. He ends up trading 3 ghouls for 3 Fiends, which is a great trade, because your ghouls are really expendable. You're not going to really want them after the initial tier 3 push. So it's great that you can trade them early on. I mean, why not? So he's at tier 2, and he doesn't stick around. He just goes straight to tier 3. And meanwhile, he's still harassing this Death Knight Fiend user, who's having a little bit of trouble. I mean, Agoraphobia managed to kill 3 out of 5 Fiends. I mean, that's really good. I mean, this is the best case scenario if you're the Lich Ghoul user. But the main point is just to slow down the Death Knight Fiend user, and that'll prevent him from pushing your base. And if he has less Fiends, I mean, it's going to be more difficult for him to push your base as well. That's one thing to note. And in a sad state of affairs, Agoraphobia, since he sold that Slippers of Agility, he's not going to be able to get that Fiend kill. So always keep the Slippers of Agility. Yeah, that's not a very helpful tip.